Welcome to Algebra 1, Chapter 8, Section 4, Multiplying Special Cases. Here's our review page. Go ahead and pause this video, work through it, and then check back here for the answers and the explanation. For number 1, we want to circle the square numbers. Which numbers are square? Well, we have 36, which is 6 times 6, 144, which is 12 times 12, 1/4, which is 1 times 1 over 2 times 2, and 1, which is 1 times 1. The square of a non-zero number is always positive. The square root of a number is sometimes negative. Our vocabulary is binomial. A binomial is a polynomial with two terms, and we looked at that in the last video. Well, now we're going to look at the squares of binomials. Here you have a chance to use your vocabulary. Cross out the expression that is not a binomial. Remember, means two, so we're looking with something that has two terms. 5, 6, 7, and 8, write your own examples of binomials. So for number 9, I want you to realize that a polynomial is all different kinds of expressions that have constants and variables. We're going to focus on 3 of them: a monomial, a binomial, and a trinomial. And I want you to go ahead and write in some examples of a monomial and a binomial, and as you can see, a trinomial is already done. When you're squaring a binomial, you can take a bit of a shortcut from using the FOIL method, but of course the FOIL method still works, and so does the box method. And to do that, you square the first term plus twice the product of the two terms plus the square of the last term. So if you're looking at x minus 7, that quantity squared, you can do x squared minus, okay, what's twice 7 times x? So it'd be 14x, a negative of course, plus negative 7 times negative 7 is 49. Now here you can see that if I use the FOIL method, the same thing happened. Realizing that it's a square just saved us a bit of time. So let's look at the quantity x plus 9 squared. Square the first, that's x times x, which is x squared, twice the product of the two terms, so 9 times x, and then twice, so that's 18x, and then square the last term, which is 9 times 9, which is 81. What rule would you use to square the binomial, the quantity of n minus 7 squared? That's correct, the first one. So let's substitute n in for a and 7 in for b, use the rule, and then simplify. As you can see, the answer would be n squared minus 14n plus 49. We want to determine the area of the 4-foot walkway that's around the patio that is x by x. So to determine that, we need to first determine what each side is. Well, if the length of the patio is x and it has a 4-foot walkway, the length of the patio is going to be x plus 8. So as a square area, we have x plus 8 squared, that's the total area, minus the area of the patio, which is x times x. So as you see in step 15, I will write the equation. Now I squared the binomial, grouped like terms, and simplified. A second key concept in this video is the product of a sum and a difference. If you have a binomial that has the same first term and the same second term as the second binomial, and the only difference is that the first one has an addition and the second one has a subtraction, you can simply square the first term and square the second term and put a minus in the middle. Let's see why that works. At 21, you see r times r. R times r is r squared. Now you have the outer, which is r times negative 6. That's negative 6r. Inner, positive 6r. And last, which is 6 times negative 6, negative 36. As you can see, your inner and your outer cancel out because one ended up positive and one ended up negative. So when looking at which rule simplifies the above expression, you would use this rule. And when we substitute x for a and b for 9 and simplify, we see that once again, we do not have to take the time to figure out the inner and the outer because they cancel each other out. When would you ever use this? Well, you can use it for mental math. Let's assume that you want to square 85. So choose a number close to 85. You can either choose 80 or 90. Let's choose 80. we're going to write 85 as a binomial. For example, 80 plus 5 is 85. We'll square this binomial, 80 plus 5 squared, and now we're going to simplify this using one of the rules we learned. So 80 squared is 6,400, plus 400 plus 400 plus 25, and you get 7,225. There's no lesson check for this one, so bring any questions you have to class tomorrow.